Hello again, everybody. Welcome to SC Playbook, the EPL edition. Game week 6 lies ahead of it. My name is Alex Molchanoff. We've got no Daniel Garb after his questions about our guest today, Matt Jurman, back from Hong Kong. Disappointed in Garby given the way he started last week. Very aggressive. You know, you had a game to go and play in Hong Kong, part of not just preseason, the Asian Champions League. Where is he?
Yeah, he was questioning my loyalty and commitment. I didn't like that. So, Garby, where are you?
Where are you?
Where are you? Should be here.
Back from Hong Kong. So I lost a typo, but you guys obviously in the stages of pre-season build towards the A-League. Good experience over there. Hong Kong's always a nice place to go, right?
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It was quite enjoyable. We had a good hotel and all that, but we didn't get the results. So it's not
no night out afterwards. I'm hearing mail.
No night out.
Team bonding has to happen closer to home.
Yeah, got squashed straight away after the game. You know, we sort of had to think about where we went wrong.
Yeah.
And start thinking about next week because we play Beijing. So at home. So start looking forward to that and hopefully get a win there. Speaking
of team bonding, nice. We've got to sort out this SC Playbook EPL edition. We've been talking about it for about 6 weeks. And we're growing the team. Kat Haddad might be on her way in. That's the rumour.
It's a rumour. Yeah.
So we've got to get ourselves together and get ourselves really bonded. Matty over there is just sitting there going, look at these disparate parts. You know, there's just nothing happening in terms of solidarity. Remember, you can follow us at SC Playbook EPL on X, Instagram and Facebook. The team putting out some great content from the articles, Steve Nikolovsky, Harry West, all our experts. You can get access to our chat community through an SC Playbook subscription, just $2 a week. Less than your daily cup of coffee, and there's discounts there if you're looking for monthly subscriptions, getting access to the NFL, cricket, NBA content that's coming up over the course of the summer as well. It's a big summer of sport coming up across SC Playbook. scplaybook.com.au. Subscribe in the menu. A couple of big talking points before we get to teams and scores and all that sort of stuff over the weekend. The big game was Man City versus Arsenal. Martinelli getting his second goal of the week after scoring in the Champions League. So there's one straight away to put on your watch list as long as he's fit. Bukayo Saka supposedly coming back in this week. But the game itself, Matty, a lot of talk about the way Pep Guardiola set up his team and how unlike Pep, anti-Pep.
How it ended.
It was. As you know, he finished out there, Nunez, Ake, Gvardiol, Ruben Diaz, Rodri, John Stones and Nico Gonzalez in the same team. A team of giants. You would have fit in out there.
Very defensive.
Yeah.
And it's not like Pep. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, I don't know if he sort of, was just trying to hold out and, thought that the team weren't fit enough or they weren't, able to get a result. But, it's ended with a draw. I'm assuming that's a bit like a loss, copying a goal that late. But, yeah, it wasn't like Pep at all. His teams are never set up like that, so it's very strange.
Was it a response to Arsenal? Because that's been the criticism levelled at Mikel Arteta. This team is so talented, you have so much depth, the ability to rotate. We've seen a bit of that in Europe already. Yeah. Do you think it was just down to that? Is this two coaches almost overthinking the game going into it?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, who knows what goes on in Pep's mind, right?
Yeah, and you could say the same of Arteta, right?
Yeah, Arteta's very similar. They worked together for a long time at Man City as well, so... maybe they're trying to outcoach each other at the same time. Maybe he thought, we'll do something that he's never done before because Arteta knows what he's thinking. And so interesting result. But I think, in the end, both teams happy with not a loss. So
I know we don't want to draw conclusions from one game, but I think an evolution we're starting to see. And I think this plays out in Pep's teams. I don't want to read into one game in its entirety, but the fact that he is going back to almost the big players in both areas, taking chances. Haaland scores that goal. Beautiful ball from Reinders. He's been in terrific form, but these game changes, it seems to be, I don't want to call it the death of this creative midfielder that Pep had built his sides around for so long, but he's relying less and less and less on them. Bernardo Silva's, Phil Foden's, not getting as much of a look into his teams during the week. Is that a trend you think we're observing more broadly? Have Arsenal brought that in? Even the way Liverpool have gone in setting up their team with bringing Isak in.
Yeah.
And the way their defence is with Kanate and Van Dijk being such pillars for them. Is this going to play forward in fantasy or is this in Supercoach or is this just something temporary?
The way I see these guys coming into the team later on, when they're able to get their form going and have get in those positions where they're more useful, especially for Haaland. But yeah, at the moment it's too hard to pick when they're going to play and if they're going to score or assist. It's too hard to pick. So for me, I'd be staying away from those sort of players at the moment. But I do see him becoming more useful for Pep and us as a super coach as well later on in the season. I
think this 5 to 10 game stretch is going to be really interesting. Good draws for City and Arsenal. So we're going to see how they try to break down some of those weaker teams. Arsenal, of course, have played Liverpool and City already. But it's going to be so interesting. I am tending towards, when setting up my team now, more and more, there is less money going into the midfield because of the categorization of the strikers. That's part of it. Salah being there rather than a midfielder as he is in FPL. Yep. But also the fact that those midfielders are not scoring big. Grealish has been the one that has been scoring consistently. Bruno Fernandes, but again, his break-even's going down, is sort of creeping up slowly this month. We'll get to our trades in a sec, but he's one I'm looking at. Are you gearing your team? You were big on the defenders early in the year, but
Reinders as well. I think he's one
he's been consistent,
bring in, especially because he's been playing 90 minutes at Man City, and that's obviously a big thing. But yeah, you're right. Grealish is the one that's been the most consistent in terms of midfielders. So, and he's increased in value since the season started, and I think midfield is the way where you've got to go a bit cheaper. It's a bit weird, to be honest, but it's not what we're used to. But I think that's the way you got to go. You talked about it. It's the guys who are playing every week, and it's the defenders and the strikers. Yeah. They're the only ones you sort of have confidence in playing every week. I had Papsar this week, and I'm going, this guy's going to play. He's been in fantastic form. He's rested. He didn't play at all, yeah? Didn't play at all. So lucky because I traded him out. Yeah, well done you. Well done you for picking that ahead of time. I got 3, but from Xavi Simons. I'm expecting him to increase in value quite a bit in the next month. So he's got one more game before his price goes up. We'll talk about him a little bit. I just quickly want to get your thoughts as well on Liverpool versus Everton. Good result. They're 5 from 5 now, looking really strong. 5 points clear. Your thoughts on that game as a whole and the way they start? It was almost backwards for them, wasn't it? Started the game really strongly and then Everton came right back into it. Yeah, I mean, it's always a derby. It's always like, where you just can't really pick what team's going to, dominate the game. Usually it's not the whole game that, one team dominates and Liverpool obviously started well, but then they had to defend quite a bit in the second half and I think they backed themselves, especially in derbies, to defend their box well and got a world-class keeper as well. So, to hold them out, that was quite big. And to win a derby, doesn't matter when it is in the season, it's always nice, to beat Everton. So it's interesting from that point of view. I've got the question here, and we've talked our way onto it before I've actually got to it in the rundown. Who won't be rotated under any circumstance at Liverpool from how you're seeing things? The 3 for me are, or 4 actually, Alisson in goal, obviously. I think most have got Raya in that position, but if you're an Alisson owner, good on you. Stick there. Van Dijk, Gravenberch, who is one of the most traded in this week. You always see that after such a terrific performance, and he was outstanding. I see him as the glue, right? He is. He is. Look, the way he's played last season and this season already, like he's scoring, assisting, breaks up the play. Like he's very key to the way Liverpool play these days. And the finish, like that, you can talk to that better than anybody. Yeah. The difficulty of that ball coming almost straight to him and being able to pull that back across goal. Yeah. Terrific technique. Yeah, divert the way the ball's going. Great goal, great assist as well by my man Salah. And I can see why he's one of the most traded, but I don't know. It's just the midfielders, you don't really want to spend big there, but I can see why. He's going to be playing every week probably, and if he keeps scoring goals like that, I think anyone that trades him in is a good trade. Sitting at 9.1 mil at the moment, we're expecting that to go up. I think his break even is in the negatives. Okay. Coming up this week. So if you're looking for a cash hit, yes, it is. -8. So he'll be set to price rises. A little price rise whenever he plays his game next. So let's have a look at your team over the weekend, Matty. You're still leading Garby by 10 points. I've fallen well adrift, more than 50 behind you. But Raya, solid performance. Tino Livramento, he's just continuing to collect points. I tell you what, your spending on your defence, mate, this year has been quite impressive. Munoz scoring again. Garby had Tyreek Mitchell in, who scored quite a brilliant goal. But that Palace defence, we talked a lot about
sort of Mateta and how they were going to go in an attacking sense. They've set up brilliantly defensively. Another clean sheet and, well, not a clean sheet actually, but their defenders are still scoring, which is probably even more remarkable. If they can add some clean sheets, which they haven't looked far from, then they're going to be just must-haves or must-keeps if you've got them in already.
Yeah, I've almost looked at bringing Mitchell in actually as well. So
right, doubling down.
Just because they're like those two, him and Munoz are pretty much like wingers, right?
Yeah.
The way they play, they get so high and I mean they've got those people in the back three to be able to back them out of trouble if they do go forward. So the one for me that killed me was having Cash on the bench.
Yeah,
I actually swapped him out. He was in the starting lineup.
The bane of sport of Supercoach players.
Kill me there. So, but doesn't matter. He's going to grow in value.
That's right.
Apart from that, I'm pretty happy with the defence. Mickey van der Ven, obviously 1 point didn't hurt a bit, but I see him having a good next month or so.
Spurs have got a decent fixture list ahead of them as well. Hence why I'm been pushing their players over the last little while, particularly the next 5 games. A really nice run for them before the international break. Home against Wolves, away against Leeds, home against Villa, away against Everton, and then they get a tougher test against Chelsea at home. But again, at home, which I think is key in all of that. We'll quickly run through some of Richarlison scoring this week for you as well. Yeah. The hold has pulled off before we get away from things.
Yeah, was very close to trading him out.
Yeah.
For I think I was looking at Joao Pedro. Yeah. So I was happy when he scored.
Yeah.
And seeing that, and hopefully increases a little bit, and I might even keep him now.
Well, he's turning into a pot, such as the rate that people were trading him out. So if you've been clever enough, like Matty, to hold on to him, congratulations. Garby's turning into a bit of the pod king at the moment. Tyreek Mitchell in there. Milos Kerkez scoring him 8. Kyle Walker, who he's held despite everyone else trading him out, a 7. Yakuba Mente, who he continues to push, and I have no qualms against, 15. Another player, if you're looking for those midfielders that are starting every week at the moment, he and Matoma at Brighton really looking at an exciting team, and they have had a tough start to the season. Xavi Simons, Jack Grealish in there for him, Salah vice-captains, Haaland captains, which was nice, and Gyökeres, he's brought in, only scored the 1 point on the weekend, but he's one I'm watching very closely. I just had too many players not playing over the weekend, Matty. De Kuyper, who I thought would come straight back in. He had that collision with the advertising hoarding against Leeds, was taken off early. I'm thinking, okay, that'll just be something simple, a little bruise to clean up, but he didn't start there, which I'm a little bit worried about. Jeremy Frimpong started in the Cup during the week. I've held on to him. Martin Odegaard, we're still worried about his fitness, and Pap Sarr as well. Taken out of things. So Bruno,
you've done well with Fernandes and Petrovic as well.
Well, this is going to be interesting. We'll talk about our trades, but Bruno Fernandes is maybe heading out. I'm still not happy with the way United are using him at the moment. Quickly, your thoughts on some of the most traded in this week. Ryan Gravenberch, we've talked about. Xavi Simons, first price jump after his next appearance. Spurs, I've just read you their little run of fixtures. I think it's 6 mil. For those who are trading through the midfielders, which I'm tending to at the moment, there's just not enough value in there. He's one to pick up over the next 5 weeks and just ride him. I think he's going to be in the team almost every week. And I was excited to see that he was starting in the attacking role rather than as one of the 3 midfielders as well. Yep. I think the fact he's starting high up the pitch is going to provide some decent value for owners.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even you look at Leeds with that.
With Stark. Yeah. What a hit on the weekend.
What a goal. Yeah, top goal. And, I think he's going to increase in value in the next week or two. So he could be someone that people could downgrade, people like Palmer. And because I've read that Palmer might be out for 4 or 5 weeks again.
This is it. When he came out and, so he was subbed after 20 minutes in that game and then has already had the injury troubles. Yeah. He is one you just cannot afford to be keeping at the moment with the doubts around him and even the way Chelsea are playing at the moment. I know they had the send-off after 4 minutes against Man United, but really lacking that cutting edge. And I've spoken very highly about Joao Pedro. I think he's still a hold for now.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah.
But he's not a focal point in the way that Delap was for them and the way they were setting up earlier in the season. I think that's going to affect them a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. That was probably the worst possible start to the game they ever expected. Yeah. copping their red card for the keeper, the 4th minute, and then Palmer goes off, and I think they made another sub as well, and it's inside the first 30 minutes. So yeah, it wasn't a good start, and for Chelsea, I don't know. I think you definitely got to get Palmer out of your team. He's costing too much, and if he's going off after the first 20, 30 minutes, and you just don't know when he's going to be back and when he's going to be
fit. How difficult is that as a player to come back when you are having these niggling injuries and you're maybe having a week in the team and then 4 out? Even when you're someone who's going to be assured of their place, like Palmer is at Chelsea, how difficult is that when you're just not having that full trust in your body?
Well, I think it is difficult, like having those sort of soft tissue injuries. You just don't know when you're going to be back, and then if it's going to go again, you lose confidence in your body a little bit. And then the coach, might decide to hold you back a little bit, maybe not start you and keep you off the bench, maybe last 30 or, stuff like that. So if you got him in your team, it's a bit worrying, to be honest. Someone I wouldn't be trusting.
Can I ask you, over the course of your career, because you've been around for quite a while now, Matty. I hope you won't mind me saying that. How much has that changed in the way they manage your injuries with the way data's come into it? And I remember the apps that you guys were having to be on. I don't know if that's still the case. How closely, particularly at Chelsea, one of the richest clubs in the world, how much has that changed in the 10, 15 years you've been a professional? Can you talk us through that process returning from injury?
Yeah, I think it's changed a lot since I started playing to now. Sometimes it's a bit too overcautious at the same time, where you used to feel a bit of pain and just get on with it. Don't even tell the physio, you just think, it's nothing, just a knock or whatever, but now it's a bit the other way where, you've got to let them know everything that you're feeling, and maybe they take it a bit cautious with you, like, give you the day off or take you out of some drills in the sessions to make sure that your loads aren't as much as everyone else, and sort of, put you in cotton wool, I guess, a few days. So then maybe you come out of that and your pain's gone, in that respect. But yeah, I think now with Palmer, I think for me, he would be someone that would be, taken really, really lightly on the training field, and he'll be in the physio trying to make his body stronger. And I'm not sure what it was. Was it his groin again? Yeah, so obviously it's changed a lot over the years, but now it's all about sports science and your loads. Every day you've got to give a rating out of 10 on what you rated the session, and then the physio sees over the week, they've done too much. The last few days we've got to tell the coach to go a bit lighter tomorrow. We've got a game in a few days, or the whole structure of trainings it's all mapped out for months, So.
And how much of that is sort of done in terms of focusing on getting you fit to play? I guess a lot of it is down to which point in the season. Obviously, we're early here, so they want him fit for as much of the season as possible. So they're less likely to rush him back, for example, than they would be towards the end of the year, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Okay. I mean, there's so much to play for this year. Yeah. They're not going to risk missing him for even more of the season already. So hopefully it's less time than they think. But, he could come back and aggravate it again, and then he's done for a few more months, So I think they'll take it serious now, a lot more serious than what they did. Try and get it right, and then before that he doesn't feel any pain at all. That's when you'll see him come back in the team, I think. But
for us, get rid, get him out, get him out.
Don't take
reinvest that money.
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't be mucking around with that. Just trade him out and try and create some value somewhere else.
And that filters in nicely to my next conversation I want to have with you, because Mohamed Salah is now getting to the stage where he is dropping towards what the bottom of his price is going to be. It's probably going to be the next 1 to 3 weeks, depending on his form. He's been playing all right, which is the funniest thing. His price at the start of the year was so high, around that 15 mil mark, that it was always going to be the case you were going to lose money on him. But for someone like you who was keen to have him in for the entirety of the year, it wasn't as much of an issue. I stayed off. Now I'm looking at Liverpool's draw. I'm looking at AFCON as well, coming up at a really weird time of year. They are playing it over Christmas and New Year, which means it's coming earlier in the season than we're used to. Yep. Liverpool have about 11, 12 games before he's set to depart. So if you are getting full value for him, as someone who's going to be moving him in and out as I am, I'm thinking this is the week. And that's the reason I'm iffy on Bruno Fernandes. I've already got rid of Palmer. If you're looking for high-scoring players, I think my way to get back and chase you guys is going to be having a big attacking trio that are going to be playing week in, week out, no matter what's happening with fixtures and schedules and all that sort of thing. And Salah is one of those players for Liverpool. We mentioned the other three. I think he's the fourth, and he's still, despite the signing of Isak, despite everything happening there, Viet's, the fact he hasn't quite gone to the level, playing not the same but a similar role. I think this is the week to move for me. Looking at Liverpool's fixtures coming up, they've got Crystal Palace away, Chelsea away, United at home, Brentford away, Villa at home before the next international break. So for me, this is time to make hay. This is the time to get him in. Get ready for AFCON when you're probably going to have to move him out again and build some value if you didn't have him at the start of the year. Bruno Fernandes is the one I've got coming out. He's made money again this week after the goal against Chelsea, which was nice. I think it could be a little bit of a false dawn for he and United. I'm interested in your thoughts on that, Matty. Certainly not someone you're looking at to trade in at the price, but for players who do have him at the moment, is he someone you're holding for now? Do you need to see more of a drop-off from United first? I just think he's probably at the peak of his value. And for me, who wants to get Salah in, this is the time to move him on.
Yeah, I think with the Salah play, you've sort of done it not too bad, to be honest. Like he's been picking up points here and there, but nothing like
this is the run.
Too bad.
This is the run.
Yeah, and so he's dropped in value. And if you're going to pick him up, I think it has to be now, because you want to bring him in with a decent amount of games before you trade him out again, before he goes away with the African nations. So, I think you've done all right there, to be honest. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who actually replaces Salah in those games. I think it could be Chiesa, who's he's been very good when he has got his opportunities, which hasn't been that many, to be honest. So hopefully. Yeah, I mean, you could get Chiesa. I don't know what price he's at, but
just grabbing him now.
But the Salah player, I like it. I think you've got to bring him this week to make sure that you get full value before he leaves.
That's a great shout, because Chiesa's at 3.5.
Oh, wow.
So we saw the assist for Ekitike. There's another one. If you're holding Ekitike out through one of the... I don't know what your thoughts are on it as a player on this, Matty, but you've scored in a League Cup game to put your team 2-0 up. Is that worthy? Is there an unwritten rule about taking the shirt off and when that's appropriate?
Well, for starters, he's taking it off against the Championship team,
That's what I mean. Like, my goodness. I think, and Slot wasn't happy, was he?
No, and he's very lucky that they won the game. Yeah. Because if they were to go down after that, I think there'd be a lot of unhappy boys in the dressing room, especially the ones that played. So. Yeah, for me that's pretty silly, but what do you do? I mean, you probably didn't realise he was on the yellow, obviously, but I don't know if you remember, but Firmino almost
that's right,
did that, and he sort of joked about it, but he never took it off, which is what people thought he was probably going to do at the same time. But yeah, like I said, lucky he didn't. They didn't lose the game, and. I think he's going to be copping a fine for that.
And I think he's one that people are looking to move out now. Isak sitting at 11.6. Your thoughts on him? He's not one of the most traded in yet, simply because he hasn't had a start in the league yet. I guess we're waiting for that. And, of course, the price rate changes won't come until he's played the 3 games. So you can afford to be patient, right? Yeah,
I think he's... I mean, that could be... this could be the start of his, Liverpool career, like actually starting week in, week out. Where he starts, scoring goals. He's had that bit of time to adapt to.
Played in the Champions League last week.
Yeah, played with the Champions League. Yeah, he's played a few games, but I think he doesn't want to be coming off the bench. He doesn't want to be in the grandstands, waiting to get fit. He wants to be ready. He's record signing, and now with Ekitike out, it could be a perfect opportunity to, start playing week in, week out.
Last couple of the most traded in, we've sort of gone through the top 5. Matty Cash, funnily enough, is in the top 10 again this week at 6.86. So no doubt he'll be finding his way into your starting team this week, Matty.
Yep, he's definitely coming in. Probably a week too late.
Hey, I'll tell you what, at least you're still carrying him. Reinders is still getting a lot of interest at 6.9 mil, still increasing in value. He's one that's set to up in price with his break-even this week. Stark for Leeds, who you touched on a little bit earlier. And I think he's an interesting one in midfield simply because the case he's not going to be dropping in and out of the side. Leeds don't have European football like a lot of the top enders. I think midfield is somewhere you can look at sort of those mid-table teams and even those lower down at guys who are going to be scoring regularly. Rodri's still there at 4.2 mil, started during the week, or last weekend rather, against Arsenal, which I think is promising. You're holding him, Matty. He hasn't been in your team a lot, but someone just building value slowly.
Yeah, slow burn. I think, he's hopefully going to come good. Hopefully a few goals, a few assists. But for now, I'm just going to hold him. He's very cheap. And
City are going to be keeping... The way they're setting up, they might be keeping a clean sheet or two just to pick up a couple of consistent points that way as well.
I can't see him he's going to keep increasing in value slowly, and he's always good to have.
You've got room on your bench. Well done. Yeah. Well done, you.
You never know when he's going to come in.
That's right. Antoine Semenyo's still sitting there at 8th most traded in this week, 10.5 mil. I can't get near him at that price. I have to be honest, as impressive as he's been for Bournemouth. They've got a tricky little run of games coming up, so maybe just hold off there, see how things are going. Didn't deliver in the week. We'll see. He'll continue to start, so there'll be value to build that way, but he's not one at 10.5 that you're looking at for that real option. And Reece James coming into the Chelsea side, they've still been rotating a little bit. Cucurella's set to lose owners a bit of cash this week, given his high break even at 21, 8.6. Maybe thinking about Reece James. I don't think he's going to be consistently starting enough with Malo Gusto in there as well. Like there's a lot of options for Enzo Maresca at the moment, isn't there?
His body is always someone
a worry
that you're worried about. He's a great player, but he's sort of never been able to get his body right in the last few years. So someone that can definitely be a cheap option, especially now. But I don't know if you can... have that confidence in him, especially similar to Palmer as well. So Semenyo is actually an interesting one.
Yeah, on penalties, on taking a lot of responsibility. There's not many options up there for Bournemouth. Yeah. And started the season well. Everyone was very excited by him after the Liverpool game, obviously.
He's a great player as well. Yeah. Watching him play on the weekend, he just tries to get involved in everything, So he could be someone if you're looking to trade someone out in the front line, definitely someone to keep an eye on. But, if I was to trade out Richarlison, he's probably the one I might be looking at.
The other one is Joao Pedro. If things don't improve, he's sitting at around that similar price point. So that's an interesting one. And I said Bournemouth have a tough run. That's completely incorrect. They've got one of the easiest runs over the next 10 rounds. Leeds away, Fulham at home, Palace away, Forest at home before meeting Man City away from home. So... hey, maybe now is the time to pounce. I'm going to hold off, see how Joao Pedro is responding. But you're right with the Richarlison. How are you feeling about Richarlison? Just quickly before we get into some bigger trade thoughts.
I just don't know the rotation.
Yeah.
That's the thing that worries me the most about him and Tottenham, because they're obviously worried about him with his body as well. So, he's scoring goals when he does play, but it's not sure if he's going to start every week. So that's the thing I'm thinking about.
The thing he's been able to stay fit. That had been the one thing in his career where he'd been in and out of teams, was Watford, Everton, all that sort of thing. At Spurs, he has stood up, even through Ange's training regime, and that was so much talked about. Is that wrecking players? It hasn't ruined him.
No, he did have little niggles last year, but this year he seems to be good. Scoring goals, he looks happy, and
he looks like a Brazilian striker.
He does, he does. Could be one to look at bringing in if people aren't on him yet. But at the same time, I think it's the injury he's got to be careful of.
There's a lot. It seems to be one of those three. It's Richarlison, Pedro, Semenyo for a lot of people at the moment. So keep an eye on all those triplet of players who are going to be starting most of the week. Maybe Richarlison's the big question mark, which is a good point Matty's made there. A couple to keep an eye on if you own them at the moment. Enzo Fernandes sitting around a 25 break even. I don't think too many own him at the moment, but sitting at 10.9 mil, set to lose money this week. Brian Mbeumo. interesting case study. A guy who's been playing, has been the outlet for United, has actually looked really good in individual games, but just can't get on the score. And, Gigi Donnarumma is no small part in that. I think
what a save.
That number would be a lot smaller had that not happened a couple of weeks ago. But as I said with Fernandes, and we'll continue to talk about this, I'm just so not sold on the way they set up. I'm not sold on the Amorim project, if you want to put it that way. They look set for another long season.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's a similar story every year with them. But I mean, he's playing deep, but he got that goal on the weekend, which obviously keeps owners sort of interested.
He's scoring even if he's not building value at the moment. If he can continue that run, then you're better off holding the trade because he's going to be in a position where he's going to be losing you less, if that makes sense, than he is at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really rely on Man United to keep many clean sheets either, right?
Yeah.
So that's the other thing when he's playing in midfield in the midfield role, he's losing points for the clean sheets. So yeah, I think with him it's a tough one, but they're playing against Brentford this week.
Yes,
it's not a big rush to get him out. He's obviously scored well on the weekend, so he's not going to be losing any money anytime soon. So,
and I'll pick you up on that because he's one of those midfielders in FPL that's classified as a forward in Supercoach. So again, he's one of those around that same mark as the Pedros, the Semenyos. Yeah. He's sort of in that category as well. So holding off there for now. But yeah, that's a good point actually. Wonder have a look at if he could keep getting in those goal scoring positions. Lucas Paquetá was one of the big trade-ins after the goal and the kiss of the badge. Things have not been going West Ham's way since. Graham Potter under a lot of pressure. He's one to keep an eye on, and I'd probably be moving out sooner rather than later if you are holding him at the moment. We've talked about the value options in midfield. There's a couple there to choose from if you are looking to just move sideways or downgrade slightly and reinvest either in your defence or your attack. And Marco Cucurella, who we've talked about. Gravenberch, Zubamendi still set to make money this week. Stack we've talked about. Lucas Bergvall's a cheeky little one, 6.9 mil. I think there's other Spurs midfielders ahead of him at the moment, and not sure how long he's going to keep in the team, but he's making a bit of money at the moment. And Matty Cash, we've talked about as well. Martin Odegaard's the one other injury concern with a high ownership we need to talk about. So said in his match notes, he actually wrote for the program for Arsenal before, which was interesting ahead of that game against Manchester City on the weekend. Obviously very disappointed. It was the same shoulder that he injured against Leeds. He's avoiding surgery, which as someone who has dislocated their shoulder, I know is a big decision because it
comes out all the time.
It will continue to come out until you get it operated on. It's just how long you can deal with that happening and how well you're able to rehab it. Again, talked about it with Palmer. He's at a very good club, a lot of sports science and physical going into all of that, but he's getting close to a trade for me. I almost did it last week with the Xavi Simons. I went another direction, but he's still one I'm looking at very, very closely. Won't be moving him on this week, but I think I wouldn't be against you if you are an owner and looking to move him on, given the uncertainty and given the fact there's a lot of depth starting to build in that Arsenal midfield. They've got other options there, which they didn't have for him last year. You saw how much their form suffered when he was out for long periods. That hasn't been the case so far this season. Yeah,
I think you can see with Arsenal, they've got a lot more depth this year and in all different positions as well. So they've got some players that are injured out now. But with him, I think... I think he's wanting to hold out for surgery, hopefully until the end of the season, because that'll probably be a big chunk of the season gone if he was to do that now. I do know that some players that I played with have had that problem, and it does come out quite frequently, So, and I've had a player that had both.
At the same time. My.
So, sometimes he just had to go off the pitch for a minute or two and
get it back in. Yep.
And then he was back on the pitch. But, it's a very annoying injury to have.
Fresh injury for him too, which makes it a bit harder. Actually, it gets easier as it gets more and more re-injured, if you know what I mean.
You know what it is. So, with him, it'd be interesting to see how he can tolerate the pain and the pop-outs and whatnot. Maybe other teams might be targeting that shoulder as well, So... in a possible way where they can. Nothing too crazy.
Footballing manner.
Yeah. There's too many cameras now, so can't do too much.
Nothing off the ball. Nothing off the ball. Hey, I'll tell you what, once upon a time, would have suited you very nicely.
Yeah. Hated the new rules.
Anthony Gordon is another one coming back in this week. He's still sitting around 7.3. Newcastle's fixture is sort of middle tier. They've got Arsenal at home this week, so definitely not a trade in straight away, but someone whose value could be dropping shortly, and it'd be another one that you can pick up for a fairly cheap price. Right, let's have a look at it. Trade plans, team set up this week. Matty, what are you thinking in terms of trades? Or are you using any at this stage of the season? What number are you on? Just a matter of fact, you got that off the top of your head?
37 left.
Okay, I'm at the same number.
Oh, yeah?
So
Okay.
we're going at about sort of one a week.
Yeah.
Which is a nice stage to be at the moment,
not
right?
too bad, yeah. I'm actually I'm either thinking to not make any trades at all,
Okay.
or
I'm just looking. You've got players that are playing, which is the big thing at this stage of the season. You've sort of seen the setup of the teams. You've seen who's in and out, except for City, of course. But elsewhere, you have got regular starters across the board. Van der Ven, Livramento, Munoz, locked-in starters across your backline. Reinders, Grealish, Josh King. Xavi Simons looks as though he's going to get a good run in the Spurs team. Salah, Haaland, Richarlison, probably the one doubt there. And then Cash, Ballard, Rodri on your bench. That's, all starters, which is half the trick in this game.
Yeah, everyone except for the second keeper, who's also
your loop option, right?
Yeah, so quite happy with the team at the moment. If I was going to make a trade, it would be a luxury one of taking Richarlison out and maybe Semenyo in, just because I like the fixtures of Bournemouth. And yeah, I mean, even their defender Senesi,
Michael Senesi.
He's been good. Getting a lot of points as well. I think he got 10 or 11 on the weekend.
Well, we mentioned it. I think we mentioned it last week with Garby. Bournemouth defenders becoming very popular very quickly because of the good run that we've talked about, but also because they've shown some defensive solidity, which is really, really positive for owners as well. There. Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. Petrovic. I'm not doubling down, but I'm very happy. The goalkeeper is not an issue. I have plenty of issues across my squad. He's not one of them. So we've talked a bit about Salah, what's happening this week. As I said, I think this is the week to pull the trigger. So I'm moving Fernandes out. I think there's a bit of a false dawn in terms of the score at Chelsea. There will be people who'll disagree with me on that. That's fine. This is what it's all about. Difference of opinion.
And Palmer going off is
everything went in their favour.
Yeah,
everything. Looking at the run of fixtures as well. Brentford away this week. I think this is going to be the litmus test. Okay, can you actually go away to a team that are going to be set up, defensively stout? Is the system going to work? I'm betting my bottom dollar the answer is going to be no. And
Brentford 1-0 win.
And this is the thing, when you're teeing up, am I going to go forward with Fernandes or Salah? And I have the option 1 and 2. There's only one. There's only one option.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. You want Salah in your team.
Yeah, if I could have them both in there, great. I'm not in that position at the moment. And Liverpool away in 3 weeks' time, I'm looking at that going, Salah's going to have a field day. He's going to have a field day. Exactly right. I need to trade out a forward to make all this happen. So Igor Thiago, well done. Great effort over the start of the season, just building cash nicely. He's taken me to about a 106 value. It's probably been the best achievement of my early season is actually building cash rather than scoring points. So I've gone that route, and Xavi Simons is an easy take of Fernandes midfield spot. Still at that 6 mil. He'll go up after this week. Jump on now. And you're not seeing that increase in value. In terms of your team setup, who are you looking at in terms of benches, that sort of thing? Is anything changing too much, keeping Rodri there for the moment?
I'll change formation, which is what I did before.
Yeah.
Matty Cash got the 17 points. I'll change to a back 4.
Yeah.
3 in midfield, and I'll have Rodri, King, Ballard, and depending on the VC with Haaland, is who the keeper will be. But obviously, I'll get those points anyway. So I think I'll keep that squad at the moment and then decide if I'm going to make a transfer late or not.
It's interesting. So we're both going into this game week with 3 forwards. I think they're just the big scorers at the moment. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And in terms of my defence, I've got doubts over Frimpong. I've got doubts over De Kuiper at the moment. I'm not game enough to trade them out at this point.
Yeah, you've held Frimpong a long time now.
I have held him a long time because, his value's not been going anywhere. That's been my thinking. I've had enough defenders that have been playing. This is the first week it's really been an issue with De Kuiper out as well. So close watch on both of them. Josh King will be sitting on the bench with Fulham there. I think Odegaard's going to be rested, so I want him to come on for one of the guys that will probably be rested, whether that's Odegaard, Papsar or Xavi Simons. So I'm starting him on the bench thinking he'll play and he'll be able to come in and cover whichever one of those rather than trying to guess which one of them is going to be rotated out. Let the game do it for me. And then Haaland, Pedro and Salah locks up front. Why not play them when you've paid the money? Captaincy plays this week, Matty. Who are you looking at? Is it as simple as Haaland and Salah again?
Let me have a look. Yeah, I think I put the VC on Haaland.
Yes, and it should be mentioned, Harry Tyra, your goalkeeper option as well. So he gives you the loop. He's got the Tuesday morning kickoff. So that gives owners of the Everton goalkeeper straightforward chance to loop this week.
Yeah, and I think Crystal Palace versus Liverpool's, it's not as easy as it sounds.
No. So, away from home at Selhurst Park.
Yeah, it's a tough place to go. And Liverpool don't always have the best of games playing against Crystal Palace. So if I was going to pick someone else, I'd maybe look at one of the Spurs players against Wolves, to be honest. Don't really like how Wolves have looked, especially the last few weeks. So but I think Salah's probably the play. Depending on how Haaland goes, might take his points or might take Salah's points. Yeah,
that's a nice little free for all basically there, isn't it? So Haaland's the vice captain, Salah with the captain's armband on, and then hoping to use the VC loop if needs be. Matty, great to have you back in the studio this week. I said last week we'll be back to our full complement in a week's time. Is that going to be the case? Are you around next week? Are we checking on your availability?
I am around next week.
Fantastic.
We've got a home game.
Yay! Beijing. What night is that? Is it Wednesday night?
It's a Thursday night.
Thursday night. So it'll probably be a Wednesday record for us. There's a little insight into our shooting schedule next week. Enjoy the week coming. It's going to be a big one. So some big games over the weekend. Nice to see Ange pick up a couple of points in the Europa League, or 1 point.
Yeah, could have been 3.
Could have been a lot more. Led twice against Betis, or led 2-0 against Betis and let it slip.
Didn't see the game, but I read about it, and Ange, he said it was a tough place to go.
Yeah, well, I think there were outsiders going into that game, right?
Definitely, so especially playing away as well. So I think in the end I'll be happy with the point, but it could have been a lot more with that, a lot more chances apparently, and it's bit hard for Ange at the moment. He hasn't had a win yet out of 4 games, but I'm sure it's coming soon. Big game this weekend for them. They take on Sunderland. The late kickoff Sunday morning, 2:30 a.m. here in Australia. Big weekend kicking off Brentford, Man United, 9:30. That's a ripper to get our appetites wet, if you like. Manchester City, Burnley. I think there's big scoring opportunity there for Haaland. In fact, we can't loop Salah. I'm just looking at the fixtures now. I've got that wrong. I had them down as the Monday morning fixture. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Matty. Tell me.
I'm going to chuck Willie Saliba as my captain with the Arsenal game on the Monday night, taking on Newcastle. I know it's up there, but Arsenal's defensive record, if Haaland doesn't score, I think he's the surest of the late kickoffs to move in for me. So he's still holding any Arsenal defenders? Or David Raya in goal? Yeah, I've just got him. I've traded out Calafiori, actually. So, okay. Just to make a bit of cash, actually, last week. So, I don't mind that. It's going against the grain. Yeah. Bit different. And I can afford to because it's not going to matter. Holland's going to score a treble against Burnley and we won't have to worry about what happens on Monday in any case. What does it take to loop? To loop, so you need that kickoff happening the day after. How many points does it? Do you think what's my cutoff? Yeah. Well, it depends who the secondary option is, right? So Saliba's not going to score more than double digits. So in that case, Haaland, if he has double digits... That'll be swapping out. Harry Tyra gets the captaincy. I reckon, maybe around that, because Saliba could... you reckon he'll have a big game? You never know. Set piece? I reckon double digits probably you're right, yeah. I think that's about my cutoff.
I think he's going to get a couple of goals this
I'll
week.
tell you what, that's something we can discuss over the next couple of weeks because it's something people are going to be doing more and more as the season goes on. They're going to get more and more opportunities with Everton having these late kickoffs more and more over the next month. So I'll tell you what, that's top of the rundown next week. What's your cutoff for looping your captain, taking that risk? It's another thing we have to wrangle with as Supercoach owners. So many equations, situations running through our heads. Matty, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll be back next week. Wednesday record should be out by the time you're driving into work on Thursday. Thank you so much for your company again on SC Playbook, the EPL edition. For Matty Jurman, for Matty the Waterboy, I'm Alex Molchanoff. Goodbye. See you next week.